Hey guys, welcome back to some more reviews, and today gonna do a review on Scanners. Sorry I didn't do a video yesterday. I was gonna do a gameplay video, but I ended up being very busy, so I wasn't able to make a gameplay video. But today, been pretty busy as well. Also, different background over my mom's house, doing a review in the back room. But decided to do a review on Scanners from night that came out 1981. Gets a 6.8 on IMDb. Wanted to do this review because I seen it a few days ago, and I didn't know too much about this movie. I knew that David Cronenberg was a director, and I knew about the famous head explosion scene. Which those of you that know and seen the movie, you guys know what I'm talking about. That freaking crazy scene where dude's head explodes, and it's practical and it's freaking shocking and crazy, but it's definitely one of the most talked about things about this movie. Um, and I remember hearing about the idea of sort of, psychic powers and, telekinesis and stuff like that. I heard about that stuff, but I really, didn't, know a lot about the storyline, about the cast, and, I didn't know about a lot about this movie. And for a while I couldn't find it. Finally found it on Hulu, and I gave it a watch. And I gotta say, I am very glad I seen this movie. This movie is definitely a classic. And now I'm a big fan of this movie. I'm a really big fan of this movie. It's a really well made classic horror film, and I also want to see The Brood, and I also want to see The Fly. Actually, believe it or not, I haven't seen The Fly all the way through. I've only seen a few themes here and there about The Fly, but I never actually seen the entire movie all the way through. The Fly gets a 7.5, which and I can actually see that because from what I've seen of The Fly, it was actually really good. And The Brood, which came out in 1979, gets a 6.9 IMDb. I definitely want to see these movies, The Fly and The Brood, and I'll definitely watch them one day because they're movies I'm really interested in watching. And The Brood I heard was very creepy, and I also heard The Fly was very creepy. And of course, David Cronenberg has made a cameo. He made a cameo in Jason X. If you guys remember from the beginning of the movie, the professor at the beginning of the movie, he gets like take like a spear or something like that through his chest in the beginning of the movie. That's actually David Cronenberg. Um, so he was made a cameo in that movie. And Scanners is a classic because the idea, in my opinion, is really good. And the budget for this movie, it wasn't much. I mean, it was about 4 million was the budget, and it made back what I think it was 15 million, 14 million. So it cost 4 million, and it made 14 million. So it made its money back, and it's not. I mean, it's definitely a budget, but it's not a lot of money to do like because horror movies. I mean, you really don't need a lot of money to make them. But still, this movie storyline is so genius and so well done that the budget, it's just crazy how this movie can be done on, I mean, I get it, it's not the lowest of budgets. There's definitely been horror movies with lower budgets like Texas Massacre and Halloween, but that's still kind of a lower budget. But still, it, the movie is still very well made. You wouldn't know it had, a $4 million budget. You wouldn't know it. I mean, it's just well made. And the movie is shot well. It's acted very well. It has a lot of likable characters in there, like Kim and Cameron, and Dr. Paul Ruth, played by Patrick McGoohan or McGoohan. Uh, is that how you say his name? Patrick McGoohan. And then Cameron was played by Stephen Lack, and Jennifer O'Neill played Kim. And then of course you had the bad guy in the movie, Daryl Revok, played by Michael Ironside. who's been in a lot of movies. I remember him from a lot of movies I've seen. Uh, Try to get his filmography up, see what he's been in. But he was known for being in. He's been in movies like. Hang on, let me get on the list here. He was on. Try to get. Hang on, guys. I know it's like, what are you doing? I'm trying to look for. Okay, here it is. He was in Starship Troopers, Red Scorpion 2. Uh, he was in the next Karate Kid. He was in. I'm trying to see because he's been in a lot of movies. Free Willy. Yeah, he's been in a lot of movies. I've seen him in a lot of movies before, and he plays a good bad guy. Like him in this movie, just the way that basically he's a very ruthless killer. I mean, he tracked down these good because basically the storyline is done very well. Where in the beginning of the movie, you've got this guy running around. He's homeless and he's going to people's tables and taking their hot dogs and taking their hamburgers and eating them, and takes somebody's cigarette and has a cigarette. And these people shoot arrows in him, and he passes out. And he wakes up, and these people tell him that he's a scanner. Basically, what a scanner is somebody who can link their brain with somebody else and link their nervous system with somebody else, and it can basically control them. So it can make them kill. It can make them bleed from the nose. They can use their powers to push them and knock them out, control them, make them do things. And you've got basically the good scanners, which are pretty much getting killed by the bad scanners. And the lead scanner for the bad scanners is Daryl Rivok. And pretty much he's tracking down all these scanners and killing them off one by one. And Cameron is pretty much a guy who didn't know he was a scanner, doesn't remember his childhood, and he really didn't know that he had these powers. He didn't know why he heard these voices in his head because, you found out that he was hearing loud voices and stuff like that because it was partly part of him being a scanner. And basically this doctor, Dr. Paul Ruth, trains him, shows him how to use his powers and stuff like that. And then he sends him sort of on a mission to go and figure out, what Daryl Rivok's plan is and find out what he's going to do and, just find out what's going on. And, while he goes to visit these people end up getting killed as soon as the character meets them, they get shot, or, there's scenes where a truck will pull up, it'll shoot them, and it'll just drive off. Like, the character, Michael Ironside in this movie was definitely a very ruthless character, and, you basically found out that he used to be a good scanner, or he used to be in the same institution or the same facility that Cameron was in, and you found that he took like a screw, tried to drill a hole in his head, try to make the voices go away, and pretty much at the beginning of the movie, you don't know it's actually the bad guy, but, there's this guy who's like, I'm going to scan every single one of you in this room, and he's telling them, how it's going to be a painful little bit, and maybe a nosebleed here and there, and, basically telling this group of people that he's going to scan them. And Michael Ironside, he's the bad guy, he goes, hey, I'll volunteer, because the guy's like, I need a volunteer. Then he freaking goes up there, sits down in the chair, and the guy tries to scan him, and he's struggling to, he can't really scan him. And you find out that Michael Ironside, like I said, he's a scanner, he's a bad scanner. And he makes this guy's head explode. And it's all practical. And probably one of the most shocking scenes I've ever seen. Because I didn't I expected it because I've heard about it. But seeing it, it was it was definitely very shocking because I don't think I actually seen the head explosion. I only heard about it in the movie, but seeing it was just shocking. It was because it's all practical, and it was sort of just holy crap, dude! it was definitely a very shocking moment. And you found that he's the bad guy, and at the end of the movie, finally Cameron faces off against Daryl or uh, Michael Ironside. And you found that Michael Ironside is actually his brother, and that the doctor is actually their father. And I guess the doctor, I guess, made sort of this formula to make the voices go away in their heads and stuff like that. And you found that back in the day, there was this stuff that was made for pregnant women, I guess, and something to do with it made the babies become scanners. And there's even a scene where, like, the girl Kim, she actually is getting scanned by a baby. Very interesting idea. It was very kind of like, whoa, what the freak? Because you wasn't sure if the mom was scanning her or if it was the baby, and it actually ended up being the baby scanning her. And they found, like I said, that these babies were becoming scanners from a side effect of this, drug that was being released for pregnant women. And Michael Ironside and Stephen Lack are actually brothers. And Michael Ironside tries to bring him, basically make him evil, and then the camera character says no. And then you got this freaking. I gotta say this: the effects were done by. I want to see who did the effects, because it's somebody very famous for doing makeup effects, and I forgot who did the makeup effects, but I want to see who did the makeup effects here, because I know that it was made by a very famous makeup artist, but I forgot who it was. Gary Zeller, Don. Well, these are assistants, Don Barry. But I also want to see who was the main makeup effects artist. I want to see makeup effects here. Try to get makeup effects. Just look on the cast list here. Makeup department. Steven. Dick Smith. That's who did it. Dick Smith, who has done makeup effects for. Try to see special effects. He's done a lot of makeup effects for movies. Hang on, makeup department, not special effects, makeup department. He's done makeup for special makeup effects for Exorcist II: The Heretic, which I didn't like that movie. The Godfather Part 2, the original Exorcist, The Godfather, Poltergeist 3. I know that he's done a lot of makeup effects. House on Haunted Hill, 1999 remake, I think, Scanners, Nighthawks, The Fan, The Hunger, done a lot of makeup effects, but the makeup effects in this movie are very well done. Like, these are some very good makeup effects in this movie, especially at the end of the movie where it's pretty much Cameron versus Daryl, or Stephen Lack versus Michael Ironside, and they're both using their powers, and Michael or Stephen Lack's face, or I think it's Michael Ironside's face starts to and basically like bubbles, and his face just sort of inflates. His skin sort of just puffs out, and there's like veins going his arms and his neck, and they're going onto his face. And this is all practical, and also Stephen Lack is also getting these veins and bubbles, and the bubbles pop, and there's blood squirting out. It's very, very, very well done makeup effects. I mean, it makes you cringe. And then pretty much Stephen Lack catches on fire, and then of course Michael Ironside's like, "I'm gonna suck your brain dry." And then of course Michael Ironside trying to basically get Stephen Lack's brain into his brain. Sorry about that. I had a little bit of spit there. Gosh dang. But basically trying to get Stephen Lack's brain, drain his brain. And and Stephen Lack's like eyes, or Cameron's eyes, freaking explode, and Michael Ironside has like these white eyes. He's like screaming, and the girl comes in, Kim, and she's like asking his, because she sees like a burnt corpse on the ground, and you think it's a bummer ending. Oh, the bad guy won, or everybody died or something like that. No, it's actually a good ending because she looks in the corner and she sees Michael Ironside, but it's not Michael Ironside. His eyes are, changed, and it's actually Stephen Lack's character, Cameron. And his brain pretty much took over Michael Ironside's brain. And he actually looks at the camera and he goes, "We won." And then the movie ends. And I'm like, okay, that's a cool ending because it's not, a bummer ending. And the movie ended very well. And the movie's a classic, and I think it's a classic, and it's definitely very well made. It's very well shot, very well directed. I love the score to the movie. Makeup effects are phenomenal. They are great. Cast is great. Very likable characters. Big fan of this movie. I'm really glad I've seen this movie. It's great. It's classic, and it's a great movie. So, guys, thanks for watching my review for Scanners, and I will see you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.